In the introduction of Shakespeare's comedy Twelfth Night, Viola has survived a shipwreck in which she became separated from her twin brother Sebastian, whom she presumes to be dead. She has been washed ashore in Illyria, the kingdom of Orsino, Duke of Illyria. Orsino is melancholy because he is in love with Olivia and would like to propose marriage to her, but he can't make any progress. Olivia is in mourning for her dead brother and refuses to see any of Orsino's messengers. She has made a vow not to receive any visitors for 7 years, and she is not attracted to Orsino. In the rising action, Viola, seeking work, goes to the court of Orsino dressed as a boy, Cesario, and not only gets a job, but becomes the Duke's favorite page. Orsino sends Cesario to plead his case to Olivia, but Olivia immediately falls passionately in love with Cesario. Meanwhile, Sebastian, Viola's brother, has also landed in Illyria, saved by Antonio, a kind man who turns out to be an old enemy of Orsino's. When Sebastian tells him he is going to Orsino's court, they separate, with Antonio giving him a purse of money in case he needs to buy something and wishing him good luck. Olivia's uncle, Sir Toby, his friend, Sir Andrew Aguecheek, Olivia's maid, Maria, and Olivia's jester, Feste, called the Fool, drink and make merry. When dour steward Malvolio scolds them for inappropriately partying in a house of mourning, they decide to get revenge on him, writing a false letter from Olivia that expresses her love for Malvolio, encouraging him to pursue her, and bidding him to come and see her in ridiculous bright yellow cross-gartered stockings. Malvolio acts on the suggestions in the letter and makes a fool of himself, leading Olivia to think he has gone crazy. Outraged to see Olivia bestow such favor on a mere servant, Sir Toby encourages Sir Andrew, who is pursuing Olivia, to challenge Cesario to a duel. Antonio sees Sir Toby watching as Sir Andrew and someone he thinks to be Sebastian are drawing swords to duel, and he intervenes, saving Cesario from the duel. Sir Toby and Sir Andrew continue to chase Cesario, but they eventually come upon the wandering Sebastian, whom they believe is Cesario. Sebastian defends himself, wounding both men. Assuming Sebastian is Cesario, Olivia prevents them from further fighting and then asks Cesario to marry her. Sebastian is utterly confused, but he accepts. In the climax of the play, Viola and Sebastian finally meet face to face, overjoyed to find one another alive. In the falling action, Orsino vows to marry Viola, and Olivia learns of the trick played on Malvolio, who was then locked away in a dark room. She releases him, and in the play's resolution, Olivia and Sebastian will live happily ever after, and Orsino and Viola will stay with Olivia until they marry. 4 characters comprise William Shakespeare's complicated costumed comedy Twelfth Night: Viola, Orsino, Olivia, and Sebastian. Viola survives a shipwreck and believes her brother was killed in it. Grieving, she decides to pretend to be a boy and find employment with Orsino, the Duke of Illyria. Cross-dressing as Cesario, she becomes Orsino's favorite servant. In turn, she falls in love with the Duke. On his orders, she tries to woo Olivia for him, but she is so persuasive that Olivia falls in love with her, leading to many comical complications. Viola accidentally discovers that her brother Sebastian did not drown, and they are reunited. When Orsino learns Cesario is really Viola, he realizes he has loved her all along and asks her to marry him. Orsino, Duke of Illyria, suffers greatly from unrequited love. He has his heart set on winning Olivia, but she will not see him. He sends his new favorite servant, Cesario, to woo her for him. Orsino grows very fond of Cesario, but doesn't realize his servant is actually a woman, Viola. When Viola's true identity is revealed, Orsino understands he is in love with her, not Olivia. Olivia has suffered through the deaths of her father and brother, and she has vowed to remain in mourning for 7 years. In spite of that, she permits Orsino's new servant, Cesario, Viola, to plead Orsino's love to her. But Cesario is so compelling that Olivia falls in love with Cesario, not realizing he is really a woman. Olivia pursues Cesario throughout the play. When at one point Olivia invites him into her house and he gladly accepts, she does not realize she has really found Viola's brother, Sebastian. She asks Sebastian to marry her and he agrees. She doesn't discover her husband is actually Sebastian, not Cesario, until a few hours after the wedding. Sebastian is Viola's brother, heartbroken because he believes his sister drowned in the shipwreck. He is grateful to Antonio, who saved him and has become almost a surrogate father to him. Sebastian is perplexed when Olivia welcomes him so warmly. She believes him to be Cesario, but is impressed by her beauty and affection and enthusiastically agrees to marry her. He does not discover Viola is alive until after the wedding. Music, jewelry, and clothing may seem like simple, general parts of life, but they're the key symbols in the madcap Shakespearean comedy Twelfth Night. Orsino's first line in the play, "If music be the food of love, play on," directly connects music to love. Indeed, music serves as a symbol of love throughout the play. When Viola hatches her plan to become Orsino's page, she is aware one of her qualifications is, "I can sing and speak to him in many sorts of music that will allow me very worth his service." In Act 2, Scene 4, Orsino and Viola, as Cesario, have a love scene in which Viola confesses her love for Orsino, even though he doesn't recognize it. As Orsino requests, music is playing quietly throughout the scene. Orsino and Viola listen to the fool sing a song about a sad true lover in Act 2, Scene 4. They are true lovers, but Orsino doesn't realize it yet. Where love dwells throughout the play, music is sure to follow. In Twelfth Night, jewelry serves as a concrete symbol of desire and affection. After Olivia first meets Cesario, she sends Malvolio after him to deliver a ring Cesario supposedly left behind. Viola knows the ring represents Olivia's love for Cesario. Olivia also gives Viola, as Cesario, a jewel with her picture, and later on, Sebastian mentions Olivia gave him a pearl as a token of her affection. In the Elizabethan era, jewelry was also used to reward servants or to mark their rank. When Malvolio fantasizes about being married to Olivia, his fantasies include possessing a watch and valuable jewels. Oh yes, and Olivia. Clothing is a major symbol in Twelfth Night, serving as a guide to the wearer's character or, in the case of Viola, Olivia, Malvolio, and the Fool, as a disguise of real character. The play's plot turns on Viola's successful impersonation of a male page, Cesario, when she arrives at Orsino's court. Even though cross-dressing is helpful to her at first, it becomes a burden when she falls in love with Orsino and when Olivia falls in love with her as Cesario. In the play's final act, after all of the mistaken identities are finally cleared up, Viola makes a point of waiting to change into women's clothes before embracing her brother Sebastian and her beloved Orsino. But clothing isn't just about disguise in the play. When Olivia first meets Cesario, she puts on her heavy mourning veil, immediately creating a barrier between her and Cesario, one she discards when she falls in love with him. The trick played on Malvolio by Sir Toby, Sir Andrew, and Maria is dependent upon his greeting Olivia dressed in ridiculous, cross-gartered yellow stockings, rather than his usual somber attire. In his case, clothing serves to show him up for the fool he really is. Even the fool puts on a disguise, dressing as the hermit Sir Topas when he comes to visit Malvolio in his dark room. The topsy-turvy world, love and madness, and the folly of grief are the wild themes in the even wilder Shakespeare play, Twelfth Night. Shakespeare develops the theme of the world turned upside down in Twelfth Night through several characters, situations, and the title's reference to the celebration of Twelfth Night. In England, Twelfth Night, the last night of the Christmas period, is a holiday celebrated before the Feast of the Epiphany. According to tradition, communities choose a Lord of Misrule to lead the activities on Twelfth Night. Various kinds of pandemonium, often involving cross-dressing, playing practical jokes, and performing other antics to temporarily disrupt social order ensued, just like they do in Shakespeare's play. Viola's disguise is a key element in depicting the upside-down world of the play, as she falls in love with Orsino, who himself loves Olivia, who falls for Viola, in disguise as a boy. It causes more problems when her identity is mistaken with that of her twin Sebastian, and vice versa. In the mixed-up world of the play, the fool, Feste, proves himself to be one of the wisest characters, pointing out to Olivia that she is mourning too much, and showing Orsino that he is making a mistake in pursuing Olivia. The fool even jokes with Viola, as Cesario, about her lack of a beard, suggesting he may see through her disguise. Shakespeare often ties love and madness together in his plays. Twelfth Night is no exception. The world turned upside down theme is echoed on the individual level by various characters' madnesses and the ensuing havoc. Orsino barely knows Olivia, and his madness consists of imagining that she has all sorts of qualities she may in reality lack. He has built her up into an idealized figure. Later in the play, Orsino is shocked at the level of Olivia's passion for Sebastian, whom Orsino and Olivia think is Cesario, whom she marries. Sebastian wonders for a second if he is mad to marry Olivia under these circumstances, but then he just accepts his good fortune. Another aspect of Orsino's madness is that he has no clue Cesario is a woman, despite a number of hints a more alert and sane man might have noticed. Malvolio is proclaimed mad because of his feelings for Olivia, and when he attempts to woo her in a ridiculous manner, smiling and wearing yellow stockings cross-gartered, Olivia can only think that he has gone mad. In Twelfth Night, the folly of grief echoes the play's argument that all grief is, to some extent, foolish or a waste of time. Olivia has suffered real loss, but turns mourning into an overly dramatic, morose, and public demonstration of her private suffering, making the over-the-top vow to receive no visitors for 7 years and covering herself up in a dark mourning veil. Sebastian and Viola each grieve for the other, but both turn out to be wrong. Throughout Twelfth Night, the fool reminds the characters and the audience of the need for perspective, levity, and consolation. He has the last word in the play, singing, "The rain it raineth every day." There are always problems and reasons to grieve, his song suggests, but people go on and live their lives anyway.